Have you ever wondered what truly defines strength in life? Is it the ability to conquer every obstacle? Or is it the unwavering belief in yourself when everything around you is changing? There's a secret that the most successful people never share. True power doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. To uncover this, we must look to ancient lessons, timeless philosophies, and values that you can implement in your daily life. Join Shining Mirror-LVB as we explore the secrets to building a life that's not only strong but filled with freedom and inner peace. The teachings from great philosophers will not only guide you through difficult times but will also help you cultivate self-confidence and a relentless drive to rise above any challenge. Are you ready? Let's begin the journey to uncover your inner strength and self-discovery now. The illusion of neediness. Power isn't in the sound, it's in the silence. Have you ever heard that to win someone's affection, you must always be present, always open your emotions, chase after them, and never leave? This mindset has been ingrained in us for so long, making us believe that constant presence is essential to build meaningful relationships. But what if everything we've been taught about relationships is wrong? What if chasing others makes you less likely to attract them? This is the illusion of neediness. When you constantly seek acceptance, when you place your value in the hands of others, you are actually giving away your power. The feeling of being liked, being noticed may feel good in the short term, but over time, it will diminish your worth in the eyes of others. You may feel dependent on the approval of others, and that's the price you pay for losing yourself. True power does not lie in pursuing others, but in the ability to walk away, not because you don't care, but because you understand that your value does not depend on the attention of others. You'll realize that silence, absence can be the strongest way to affirm your worth. It sends an unspoken message that you don't need to prove your value, it has always been there, independent of anyone's recognition. In my experience, true confidence comes from stillness. It's not about making a scene or being the loudest in the room. Instead, true confidence comes from being content with who you are, even in silence. A confident person doesn't need to create noise, nor do they need to chase after everyone's attention to feel valuable. They have found their value within themselves, and from that, silence becomes their strength. Leadership is not about dominance or control, it's about inspiring respect through actions, consistency, and the ability to stand firm in the face of challenges. True leaders, those with a strong influence in life, aren't the ones who speak the most, they are the ones who act with resolve and quietude. They know when to step back, when to remain silent, and when to uphold their self-respect. Don't chase, lead instead. Imagine a man who constantly lives in dependence on the approval of others, always texting, constantly apologizing, bending over backwards to gain attention. This man is not a leader, he is a follower, hoping that others will acknowledge his existence. He is someone who seeks validation, who doesn't understand that true affirmation comes from within. When you chase after others, you'll never become the person you are meant to be, and you won't influence them in return. The key to gaining respect and influence is not pleasing others, but staying true to your own beliefs. The moment you stop needing others to complete you, you become an unstoppable force. Confidence doesn't come from how others judge you, it comes from understanding yourself and trusting the path you are on. A truly confident person is someone who can stand firm amid the storms without needing validation from anyone. True leadership comes from within. It's about creating a life so captivating that others naturally want to be a part of it, not because you manipulated them, but because your path is clear and your purpose undeniable. You don't need to seek attention or chase after the crowd. When you live authentically, your influence will come naturally. Leadership is not about being the loudest or the most obvious in the room. It's about knowing where you're going and walking with confidence. When you have a clear vision and a firm purpose, you don't need to chase anyone, people will be naturally drawn to your energy. It's your unwavering commitment to what you believe in and how you face life that makes you a leader, not someone who is constantly seeking approval. Remember, the true leader is the one who stands firm on their path without changing themselves to please others. Build from within, to become the man who is untouchable, not in a cold, distant way, but in a strong, magnetic way. You must invest in yourself. Don't let external factors dictate your thoughts and actions. Don't check if she's seen your message. Don't interpret her silence as a sign you must react immediately. In truth, when you start seeking approval from others, you lose your sense of control and inner strength. When you allow yourself to be dependent on the response of others, you are trapping yourself in an invisible cage where every decision is controlled by external forces. True power does not come from capturing the attention of others or trying to please them. It comes from not needing anyone's approval to feel valuable. When you can live a life without seeking recognition, you will tap into an inner strength that nothing can break. Invest in your body, mind, and spirit. These are the key steps in building a solid, unwavering version of yourself. Wake up before the sun. Embrace the quiet peace of the early morning hours. Read books not for entertainment, but to uncover new ideas and perspectives that challenge your worldview. Push your physical and mental limits to become stronger every day. When you train your body, you're not just improving your health, you're reinforcing your mental resilience. When you cultivate your mind, you build a strong foundation to face life's challenges. Every action you take is not just self-care, it's a step forward in your journey of internal growth. A man who is truly strong never lets external circumstances shake his inner peace. He knows how to stand firm in the face of adversity, understanding that life will always have challenges, but it is these challenges that allow him to demonstrate his worth. True strength lies in self-mastery, when you can fully control your emotions and actions without being influenced by what's around you. From my perspective, when I began to focus on developing myself, I realized that true confidence comes from my ability to control what I do, not from pleasing others. Each time I wake up at 5 a.m., choose to read a book instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, or challenge myself physically, I feel a deep transformation inside. When I stopped seeking validation from the outside and turned my focus to personal growth, I noticed how much stronger I became. Every small decision in life can change how you perceive yourself, and when you take charge of those decisions, you feel true strength. I understand that when you no longer need to chase after the approval or affection of others, you create a path to freedom and inner strength. That's when you become the person others naturally respect without having to force it. This inner power is not just confidence, it's the ability to create influence without chasing it. Mastering emotions, the true secret. Let's be realistic, life is full of emotional challenges. There are days when the world seems to collapse around you, when your mind is filled with doubt, and when everything seems to test your endurance. You may feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, disappointment, anxiety, or stress. During these times, it's easy to give in, to react in ways that we later regret. However, what differentiates a leader from a follower is how they face these challenges. It's not about avoiding pain or difficulty, it's about facing them courageously and using them to grow stronger. A man who can sit in discomfort without losing control is a man who deserves respect. He doesn't react impulsively, he responds with intention. He doesn't crumble under pressure, he stands tall. This man knows how to regulate his emotions, not allowing them to control his actions, but instead using them as opportunities to learn and grow. Mastering emotions doesn't happen overnight. It's developed through daily discipline, through sitting with discomfort and learning how not to react impulsively. Every time you face a stressful situation, instead of letting emotions lead, you can choose to pause, take a deep breath, and assess the situation thoughtfully. Over time, you'll develop this ability to the point where emotions no longer control you, you will control them. I've learned that the key to mastering emotions is awareness. It's about recognizing when your emotions are trying to take control and choosing not to surrender to them. Awareness is the ability to pause, observe, and understand your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. I've found that when I respond thoughtfully, rather than reacting instinctively, I maintain my inner strength. Through practicing awareness daily, I've learned how to prevent emotions from overwhelming my reason, and in doing so, I can maintain inner peace in any circumstance. This doesn't mean you must eliminate emotions, it means learning to live in harmony with them so they no longer dictate your actions. When you can master your emotions, you become a true leader, not only in your work but also in your personal life, where you can face any challenge without letting it pull you down. The power of silence. Have you ever noticed that there are people who simply walk into a room and immediately capture everyone's attention? They don't speak much, but their presence is undeniable. They don't chase after attention, yet they attract it effortlessly. This is the power of silence. Silence is not mere quietness. It is not about keeping quiet out of fear or insecurity. True silence is an invisible but powerful force, one that allows you to stand firm in the face of any storm without needing to make a sound. True leadership isn't about drawing attention to yourself. It's about standing strong in your own truth to the point where others can't help but be drawn to you. Your presence must be powerful enough to make others feel the stillness within you, to make them feel at ease and inspired. When you stop chasing attention or the need to prove yourself, you begin to walk the path of true leadership. A leader doesn't need to demand attention or recognition from others. Instead, they simply stand firm in themselves, showing that they know exactly where they are going. It is in this space of peace that real influence is born. And when you can maintain that peace, you will find that you don't need to do anything, because others will naturally be drawn to the power of your stillness. Silence is not weakness. It is a form of strength that helps you stay grounded in the midst of any storm. I've learned that when I stop seeking validation from the outside and focus on my own growth and peace, I become much more magnetic. That's when I truly discover my strength. When you stop and allow yourself to be at peace, you will see that good things will naturally come to you, not because you sought them, but because you have become someone they cannot ignore. It is in this space of calmness that true influence is born. You'll notice that when you no longer rush or force your actions, you become more powerful than any hurried action. Your silence becomes the symbol of self-mastery, of someone who knows how to control themselves in any situation. Living with purpose, the key to attraction. At the core of every great leader lies a clear sense of purpose. It is not just an abstract concept or a distant ideal, it is the driving force behind every decision, every action, and every step they take. Without purpose, our lives can become a drifting journey, aimless and without direction, like a ship without a compass. We may be swept away by the currents of life, constantly questioning where we are going and why. But when you have purpose, you become unstoppable. Purpose is the energy that propels you forward. It is the strength that helps you endure hardship and rise after every fall. It is not only the motivation that gets you out of bed each morning, but also the force that keeps you going when everything else seems to falter. With purpose, you no longer chase after external validation or approval. Instead, your presence and actions naturally attract others who share your values and mission. A person who lives with purpose does not just lead, they inspire. When you are clear about your purpose in life, others are naturally drawn to you, not because you try to attract them, but because your life is a reflection of a powerful and meaningful reason to exist. Purpose gives your life depth and direction, making every action aligned with a higher goal. You no longer seek fleeting recognition or temporary satisfaction. Instead, your focus is on something larger, something that gives you the strength to persist through any difficulty. I've realized that what truly attracts others is not appearance or natural charm, it is the purpose they live with. When you live with a clear purpose, you no longer need to try to show off or seek validation from others. You don't need to prove yourself through words or actions, your presence alone carries the power. When you live with intention and clarity, you create an environment around you where others can feel your stability, determination, and trust. Your purpose in life not only keeps you grounded but also becomes something others want to follow. When I began living with a clear purpose, I found that every day became a step filled with meaning, no longer lost or aimless. I knew exactly where I was going and why. This not only helps me maintain focus in my work, but it also creates a natural attraction from people who share the same vision. When you live this way, you don't have to chase after followers. Instead, you create a life that others want to be part of, a life filled with meaning and purpose. One that others can resonate with and be inspired by. In conclusion, the true power you seek in life does not come from chasing others, seeking validation, or performing to gain acceptance. It comes from knowing who you are, having a clear purpose, and leading yourself with integrity and discipline. The more you build yourself, the more you attract the energy of others. When you live with a strong sense of purpose, when you know exactly where you are going and why, you won't need to chase after attention or approval. Your presence alone will draw in those who share your vision, those who are willing to walk alongside you on that journey. Don't chase after others. Build a life that is so compelling that others can't help but want to join you. Your life should be powerful enough to inspire others by simply being what it is. Don't allow yourself to be swept up in fleeting trends or relationships that lack depth. Create a space where people naturally want to be a part of. Not because you force them, but because they see the value and strength in your purpose. And remember, true leadership begins from within. Master your mind, master your emotions, and the world will follow. When you know how to control yourself, when you can face challenges without wavering, you will naturally become someone others want to follow. You won't need to seek validation because, within yourself, you will have the strength to create influence. And once you achieve that, not only will your life change, but you'll also have an unseen power that inspires those around you. If you found this content valuable, don't let that spark fade. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation about the true power of self-leadership. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Shining Mirror-LVB for more lessons on building a life of purpose and impact. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep building your path. Because when you stay true to your goals, nothing is impossible.